Hello, my name is John Watson. I'm the Tech Support Manager for Load Systems International. During this segment, we will discuss how to modify, add, and remove a sensor from the sensor list. To get to the sensor list, first we press the menu button, which shows us a parts align menu. The sensor list is in menu 4, which is the installation menu. So we use either the right or the left arrow to scroll through our different menus until we get to menu 4, installation. Press the enter button, which is also the menu button. Our first option is sensor list. Back, next, exit, or enter. So we press enter, put in our password of 8. The first sensor is a load cell. Menu 4A1, number 1, ID 25614 load cell. Now to modify, you press the right arrow or the left arrow. Whichever portion is blinking, that is the field that is set to modify. In this instance, we just want to change the ID number to a new load cell. To do that, use your up and down arrow, just press and hold, and you can see how the numbers start scrolling. And it'll start scrolling pretty fast, so if you get to the number and you pass it, no worries. Just use your down arrow to go back the other direction until you find the proper number. In this instance, this is 32475. Now the sensor type is going to remain the same, but if you did want to change the sensor type, use your up and down arrow to change the sensor type as well. It's important to verify that the sensor type matches the sensor ID number. So whichever portion is blinking is the part that is the field to modify. You use the right or left arrow. Now if it's sensor number 2, press the right arrow again and you see it says 4A1 number 2 ID 55184. To scroll through the sensor list, just use the right and left arrow to get to the sensor number to be modified, removed, or added. So once you have the correct number input, press the enter button and it reinitializes with the new number. To get to the sensor list, first we press the menu button, which shows us a parts align menu. The sensor list is in menu 4, which is the installation menu. So we use either the right or the left arrow to scroll through our different menus until we get to menu 4, installation. Press the enter button, which is also the menu button. Our first option is sensor list. Back, next, exit, or enter. So we press enter, put in our password of 8. To add a sensor, we'll use the right arrow and find the first empty sensor position. That is number 4. Now you can tell an empty sensor position because the ID number will be 0 and it will say no sensor. For this demonstration, we want to add a wind speed sensor. The ID number is 100693. You could press and hold the button until you get to 100693, but there is a little shortcut. You can press both buttons at the same time and you see the number will jump. And then we can continue on to 100693. And as you can see, it's easy to pass a number, so just go the opposite direction if you pass it. 100693, but we're not done. Just because you have the proper ID number put in doesn't mean the display is going to read the sensor properly. So we must also change the sensor type, which currently reads no sensor. Use the right arrow. Again, the sensor field blinks. Use your up and down arrow to select the sensor type. which in this case is a wind sensor. We have it, we have our ID number, we have our sensor type. Press enter to confirm, and it reinitializes with the new sensor. To get to the sensor list, first we press the menu button, which shows us a parts align menu. The sensor list is in menu 4, which is the installation menu. So we use either the right or the left arrow to scroll through our different menus until we get to menu 4, installation. Press the enter button, which is also the menu button. Our first option is sensor list. Back, next, exit, or enter. So we press enter, put in our password of 8. To remove a sensor from the sensor list, we must first find the sensor to be removed. Number 1, ID 34725, load cell, that's not the sensor we want to remove. So we use the right and left arrow to scroll through. The field that is blinking is the field to be changed. Sensor number 3, which is the angle sensor. Number 4. We no longer need our wind speed sensor. So to remove a sensor, you must change the ID number to 0, as well as remove the sensor type. Just press and hold the down arrow until you get to 0. Past 0, use the up arrow. So if the number starts moving really fast, just let go. Release the button, press it again, and it goes slow again. There. My sensor ID has been brought down to 0. So we want to make sure that we remove both the number and the sensor type. So now with the sensor type field blinking, we use our up and down arrow. Just like adding a sensor, we're removing it, so we want it to say no sensor. When you're finished, press the menu button to save it, and it reinitializes without that sensor. When replacing a sensor, let us know the old ID number. We can then set up the new sensor to intercept the display signal and auto-update the sensor list. That concludes how to modify, add, and remove a sensor from the GS550 display.